Hi, and welcome to An Actor's Library. I'm Carlise Burke, and if you've been watching my Actors Library videos for a while, you'll notice that I am not in my home library today, which consists of basically a bookcase and a vision board. That's my home library. But today I am on set. I am in my trailer, and I thought I would take advantage of this amazing lighting from this mirror and the makeup that I didn't have to do because I just came from hair and makeup and the hair. And I am in my wardrobe. So it's a new outfit and new jewelry, which I don't own. I'll have to give it back when the day is over. So you may see this ensemble. You will see this on television at some point on a TV show that I'm working on. So that brings me to the book that I am reviewing today. My favorite author, Stephen King, Finders Keepers. This is the second of the trilogy from Mr. Mercedes, the Bill Hodges trilogy. I gotta stop smacking my teeth. I noticed that I do that a lot. Only when I do this for some reason. And it must be because I'm thinking, I don't know, but we'll work on that. Anyway, I love Stephen King. I love the way he writes. He totally referenced Mr. Mercedes and what happened in that book that set off this whole chain of events. I love the way, well, he did a little time thing, like some things, it starts in 1989. I forget, well, let me see if I can see it real quick without, I could always cut and edit. But it starts out, in 1978. And then the next chapter will be like current day, maybe 2019, 18, 17, something like that. And then it'll go back and forth. And you know that he's setting us up for these two people from these different time periods will eventually meet, collide, interact, or whatever. And of course, he does not disappoint. And I love to try to think ahead, but you can't do that with Stephen King. You never really know how things are going to turn out, but you can see some things coming, and you know that there will be a merging of these two characters and to move the storyline along. I love that about him. I loved trying to guess. I thought it was a little slow only because I wanted to get to like, well, when does Bill Hodges come in? And he didn't come in till quite a bit later in the story. And of course, we needed all of that backstory for it all to make sense. But Bill Hodges and Holly and Jerome, who we meet in Mr. Mercedes, start this private investigating company, and it's called Finders Keepers. But again, like I said, we don't really know that until much later in the book. And I think the air conditioning is kicking on. And I don't know if they actually state it, or did I know that from the research that I've done. But anyway, once Bill Hodges and Holly and Jerome come into the picture, things really get exciting, and now all of these characters are intermingling. And I don't want to give anything away, but it's about an author, it's about stolen property, it's about money. I love the way the kids kind of set off a series, chain of events, and his characters are always so wonderful and so interesting. Of course, there is violence, and somebody's in jail, and there is blood, and the whole thing, or else it wouldn't be Stephen King. But I really like this one. The third one is called End of Watch, which I have to look for. I'm not sure if I have it or not. I may have to buy it, but I definitely, by the end of Finders Keepers, you do want to find out what happens in End of Watch. Now, what I find interesting is that I watched Mr. Mercedes because it's a series now from the book. And I watched it and I loved it. Some things are different, but I don't mind that they're different. It still all works for me. But what I hear they did was, so there's 3 seasons of the series, Mr. Mercedes. The second season is not this story. This story, I believe, is the 3rd season. And End of Watch, which kind of picks up from Mr. Mercedes, is the 2nd season. So that should be interesting. So now I can't go ahead and watch season 2 and 3 because it's all out of order and I don't want to know what happens. I can't watch the, oh, it's a little warm in here. Let me get a tissue. Oh my, should I turn on the air conditioning? Maybe that's what's wrong. What's wrong with me not having air conditioning on? But now there's noise. I hope you can still hear me. Schwitzing, schwitzing. We'll fix it in post. Look, and now I'm even looking into the camera. We'll turn that on for a little bit and I'll try to do the end of this video. Okay, so we're gonna make this quick. So I can't watch, I don't want to watch seasons 2 and 3 because they're out of order. So I will just wait until I finish reading End of Watch, which kind of picks up, they say naturally, from Mr. Mercedes. And that was, Mr. Mercedes was so good. And I just can't wait to see what happens with Brady, who started all of this with his terrible, terrible, horrible crime. And he's sociopathic. I don't know. He has problems. He has psychological problems. And his relationship with his mother is just, oh, whatever. But that was all found out in Mr. Mercedes. This is about an author, like I said, some writings from the author. There's money involved. I just noticed, see, these are the books. All of these books were found in a trunk by this author, handwritten, and then something happens to him. I don't want to give too much away. Anyway, I am going to continue with this series. I love Stephen King and always will. He writes, I understand, every day of his life except for maybe 2, Christmas and his birthday. And I'm schwitzing in my trailer, but thanks for joining me on An Actor's Library. I highly recommend this series, the Mr. Mercedes Trilogy. I highly recommend it. And you know what I always say, be a star where you are.